What's good, everybody? It's your boy, The Kitchen, and we're back with another video. Today, we're talking about two NBA teams. You know, we've been doing a lot of women's college basketball lately. And we're going to keep doing that. We're going to stick to that. But we're going to talk about some NBA, too. We're going to talk about all the things that I watch. I watch a lot of stuff, so no reason to not come in here and talk about it if I'm going to watch it. We're talking about two teams in particular. One of those teams are my favorite NBA team, the Miami Heat. The other team is another team in the Eastern Conference, the Toronto Raptors. And I'm going to be talking through the process of, is there a chance that the Heat or the Raptors or both play spoiler in the Eastern Conference? As we sit today, they are both 2-3 in the standings, in the Eastern Conference standings, I should say, not the full standings. The Raptors are 14-5 at the two spot behind the Detroit Pistons, who are also on a winning streak. Wait, nope, I lied. I think they lost recently. Yeah, they just lost their most recent game. But they're 15-3. The Raptors are on a 9-game winning streak. They're 14-5. The Heat are on a 6-game winning streak. They're 13-6. So the teams that we expected to be at the top two teams that we expected were Cleveland and New York in any order. And Cleveland has struggled out to start the season. I think New York has gone through different phases. Like, there's been games without Brunson. OG got hurt, so there's been some in and out. And you could say the same thing for Cleveland. Garland's been out. Who else? Really, it's been mostly Garland that's been out, and that's a huge piece for them, obviously, because that's their point guard. And him just being on the floor is a huge difference maker for Cleveland. And then the 6th spot, you got Atlanta. Orlando, people expected to be up higher too. They're in the 7th spot at 11-8 or 11-8. So I really wanted to talk about these two teams in particular because they've been playing at a high level, but they've also been playing a bit of a different brand from most teams. We'll start with the Raptors because I'm being biased here. Let's start with the Raptors. They have the better record. They're on the 9-game winning streak, so let's talk about them. Let's talk about Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram is freaking hooping. He's playing at a phenomenal level. He's averaging 21 points a game. We'll round up, 22 points a game, 49. No, we're not going to round up on that. 48% from the field, 31 from 3, 84 from the free throw line. He's been their go-to guy in the clutch. He's been their best scorer in the half court. Like, the way that they played at such a level, or they played at such a pace that it's not like, oh, all we do is Brandon Ingram half court. You know what I mean? Like, he's like them having him in the half court is a luxury at this point. It's not like we need it, or if we don't have it, we're not what we are. And I think that's a big thing for this team specifically. Scotty Barnes has been really good, and him not having to be the primary creator all the time, or the primary perimeter option in terms of scoring, has been really big for him as well, especially on the defensive end. He's able to go and lock in defensively and guard guys like Evan Mobley, Jalen Johnson, those kinds of players, Cat, like all these different players that he's able to guard, but he's also able to give you 19 points a game, 51% from the field, 39 from 3, and 85 from the free throw line. So I do think they'll both end up being all-stars. It'll be hard to see them not getting 2, especially if they're in a top 3 seed in the East, because no one expected them to be a top 3 seed, and nobody expected Miami to be one either. So both of these teams deserve credit for that. I love what I've seen from the Raptors. RJ Barrett is averaging 19 points as well, 50% from the floor, 35 from 3, 72 from the free throw line. Quickly's averaging 15, 45 from the field, 36 from 3, and 74 from the free throw line. And them being able to they don't run as much read and react as the Heat do, but they still run a lot. They still find ways to be like, okay, we're going to get the defense, and we're going to make sure that the game is always at our advantage in a way. Like, rebounds, we're running. Even when other teams score, we're running. Like, I always laugh at how fast they, run to inbound the ball. And a lot of teams don't. Like, a lot of teams will let the ball roll, and they'll sit and they'll wait. The defense is set. like completely set by now. But if you're always trying to get the ball in quick, then the other team has to be on their toes defensively, and they're worried about getting back and communicating and all that. And by the time they do that, they may have kicked it ahead to somebody, and now they're, going to the rim, or they're creating for somebody else. Like, it's organized chaos is what I like to call it with these kinds of offenses. It's like, it seems like there's a lot going on, and even if there is, the offense knows what's going on. So that's really all that matters. So to the outside eye, it looks like, what the hell are they doing out there? Everybody's just running around. But they know where they're running around to. They know why they're running around. So if you can make that offense work, if you have the personnel for it, it's a great offense. If you don't have the personnel for it, do not do it. I don't recommend. They haven't had the greatest bench. They've had games here and there from bench players, but I would say that's probably one of the things they're looking at and being like, if we're going to be one of those teams in the East, we're probably going to have to get more consistently from our bench, because the lineup of Brandon Ingram, Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickley, and Scotty Barnes has played the second most minutes in that lineup specifically has played the second most minutes in the NBA, and they have a offensive rating of 121.5 and a defensive rating of 116.6. But the drop off when some of those players are off and other players are on is pretty drastic. So you're definitely looking and you're thinking, what can we do with the bench to make it to where they're still coming in and giving us the same kind of, I don't want to say punch, because they're not going to be able to do exactly what the starters do, because they're not starters. But I do think there are things that they can do, and sometimes it just comes down to making shots. Like, I don't think there's bad players on their bench, or there's players that aren't capable. Like, Grady Dick is a good player. Ochai Agbaji is a good player. Mamu Kalishvili has shot the ball really well this year. He's shooting like 42% from three. So there's players. Jacoby Walter? Like, there's guys, Jamal Shedd. Like, there's players on the bench that have the ability to play at a high level in the NBA. So I do think sometimes it's just shots aren't falling, and then sometimes shots are falling. So I think it'll take time. I don't think they'll get into the playoffs and like everybody's looking like, yeah, but the bench is really bad. So something underrated about this Raptor team. Top 4 in defensive rating. They are behind Oklahoma City, who's number 1, Miami Heat are number 2, Dallas Mavericks number 3, and then number 4 is the Toronto Raptors, right before the Pistons, who are like 0.1 behind them. So I think that's really impressive that they're able to play defense at a high level, especially with the players that you would look at in their starting lineup. You're thinking, okay, Quickley, Brandon Ingram, not necessarily known as defenders, but they're players that compete. Scotty Barnes is a really good defender. Jakob Poeltl is a pretty good defender. And then RJ Barrett, when he's locked in, he's a good defender as well. Sorry. So when I look at things like that, I'm thinking, if things continue to go this way and they keep continuing to play this way and they're healthy, there's a chance that in a playoff series they could change something in this Eastern Conference that people had in their minds going into the season. And it's like, okay, like, yeah, like last year with the Indiana Pacers, and I guess the Knicks too, because no one expected the Knicks to beat the Celtics, and no one expected the Pacers to beat the Cavs. So I'm not saying that the Raptors and the Heat are going to make it to the conference finals or anything like that, but there may be a team that we get to the playoffs and you're like, yeah, this team for sure is going to do this, and then they might have to match up with one of these teams in the playoffs, and it could get scary for whatever team they have to play. For my Miami Heat, hey man, stop counting out the Heat, man. Stop counting out Eric Spoelstra. First and foremost, stop counting out Eric Spoelstra, one of the best coaches of all time. You can argue with your mom. I do not care. If I had a coach that I could pick, like if I built my own team and I got to pick my coach, I'm picking Eric Spoelstra. And yes, that's a little bit biased, but it's also like the proof is in the pudding. Like, yes, he had LeBron and D Wade for a 4-year span. Well, them as a duo with Chris Bosh for 4 years. He had D Wade for longer, obviously. But what he's been able to do since D-Wade retired, even when they let D-Wade go, which was asinine, when they let D-Wade go, they still found ways to make other players in their system really, really good. And a lot of that has to do with Eric Spoelstra. I didn't see Phil Jackson do that. Phil Jackson had Kobe, Mike, Shaq, Pippen. And I'm not saying he's not a great coach, but I'm just saying, like, I ain't seen him at when we saw him with the Knicks, we ain't even gonna speak on that. I'm gonna just say when we saw him with the Knicks, and then y'all can give me what you want there. Pause. Actually, no, you can't. And then Greg Popovich would probably be the second one. Like if I had to choose and I couldn't get Spo, I'm picking Pop. If Spo wasn't Miami Heat's coach, he'd probably be like the second pick to Pop. Because you got to give respect to Pop. He's the godfather. 20 straight years of playoffs and all this other stuff. But when it comes down to coaching and just making sure that your players are in the right places, empowering your players, getting the best out of players that people would never think of having on your team. Boy, we pulled Hassan Whiteside from the freaking YMCA league. They were saying that boy got a bag. Now, should we give him that bag? Probably not in hindsight. But I will say, being able to pull somebody like that off the street, essentially, and have him hooping for a few years. Look at what they've done with Bam. Bam deserves a ton of credit because the way that Bam has come in from Kentucky, and I'm a Kentucky fan as well, came from Kentucky. All we knew about Bam is he can defend, he block shots at the rim, and he can dunk. That's it. That's all we knew. Block shots and dunk. When he came to the team, it was like, all right, Bam got to get some minutes. We got to get Bam some minutes because he was just bringing so much energy, and it was like, all right, he's gonna go for everything. He's gonna go for every block. He's gonna try to dunk everything. And year by year by year by year, he's gotten better and better and more skilled and more skilled. Like he's hitting 3-point shots regularly. He's shooting middies off the dribble. Like, who saw that coming? I'm sure when Bam got drafted, he didn't even see that coming. So he deserves a lot of credit. The Heat coaching staff deserves a lot of credit. And I say all that to say, stop doubting the Miami Heat. We may not win a championship this year or in the next few years, but we always find a way to be in the mix. And that's all we can... I ain't gonna say we can ask for because some of these Heat fans be tweaking. But that's all I can ask for. Give us a chance. That's all I need is a chance because we had Jimmy. Nobody was like, they gonna win a championship. No, but we got the 2 finals. 2. Beating the Boston Celtics, beating the Bucks, beating teams that no one gave us a chance to beat. We did it. So all you need is a chance. We just saw what the Pacers did. They got to a Game 7 of a finals. Just give yourself a chance. You never know what's gonna happen. So that's why I'm always appreciative of the Heat because they never just, we're gonna rebuild. We just gonna do this. No, we are going to figure out the best way to make this team play at a high level, and they've done that. But let's get to this season and why they've done that. First of all, the offense, super entertaining. I'm seeing a lot of people that aren't Heat fans love watching the Heat this year, and in years past, I've listened to a lot of people say time out, just real quick. I know this. Listen. I know this, but seeing this number just out of nowhere is crazy. So Miami, Dallas, Toronto, and the Pistons all have a 110 defensive rating. That's 2 through 5. The Oklahoma City Thunder are number 1 at 102.9. That's a huge difference in OKC's crazy. But that's not, nevertheless, let's get back to what we was talking about. The way that the Heat have been playing this season has given everybody an opportunity to show off what they can do well. And it puts everyone in good spots. We have a bunch of guys that can either shoot, attack the rim, create for others, dunk the ball. Like everything that your players do well, you're putting them in spots to be able to do that. Khalil Ware having a phenomenal season. Should be in the starting lineup, I think. But that's the thing is, like, Tyler's back now. And can we stop acting like Tyler Hero don't know how to play basketball? Please. Can we stop acting like Tyler Hero don't know how to play basketball? I've seen too many people, Heat fans included, not all, but some. Oh, I don't know if Tyler Hero going to be able to play in this offense because he missed a field goal. Wow. I don't know if he's going to be able to play in this offense because it's a real motion offense and everybody's moving and he likes to pick and roll. Tyler Hero been playing pick and roll his whole life? Or did he play pick and roll because that's what the Heat needed? Because we didn't have anybody that could do it. We're playing a new offense now. Y'all don't think Tyler Hero was around in the offseason when they implemented the offense? You think, oh, now Tyler Hero's back and we just not going to do that no more? Tyler Hero is probably the best shooter on the team. If he's not the best, he's the top 3. One of the best players that get into the rim off of attacking the closeout. Are you kidding me? And he's a good creator as well. He can pass the ball. He's a good playmaker. So, man, I'm going to leave that there. I'm going to just say this. Well, I'm not just going to say this because I ain't really getting to what I wanted to get to. But Khalil Ware been playing really well. He's leading the team in rebounds. That's big. I think they need to keep him next to Bam. He needs to be in the starting lineup next to Bam. I don't know who goes to the bench. I really don't. Tyler, Norman. Obviously, I'm not saying they do. But you got Wiggins and you got Davion Mitchell. One of them got to go to the bench. One of them got to go to the bench. I'm just saying. And I would say it's probably Davion. You put Tyler at the 1, Norman at the 2, Wiggs at the 3, Bam at the 4, Khalil at the 5. That just makes the most sense because you can still bring Davion off the bench with Jaime and Jovic when he's healthy. And you can still run Fontecchio as well. I just think having Andrew Wiggins' defense and versatility in the starting lineup helps a lot. Like having multiple versatile defenders out there next to Tyler, because Tyler competes for sure, but he's not a great defender. So having more defenders out there, even though Davion Mitchell's a great defender as well, so maybe you want him out there for that point of attack defense. But we'll see. But I will say, Norman Powell. Kudos to you, my boy, because last year, phenomenal year. I will not lie. I was somewhat skeptical coming in this year because I'm like, I don't know if he's gonna be able to do that again. Like I think he would. I think he could probably still give us 19 to 20 points a night. That boy averages 24, rather efficiently too. He's shooting. My fault. Let me find it real quick. He's shooting 49% from the field, which is nuts, and 44% from the 3-point line, 88 from the free throw line. What more could you ask? What more could you ask? He's shooting the ball phenomenally. He's been our best guy to go to, like, if we ever get into late clock situations, or if we get to the ball's been moving a lot, but no one thinks they have the shot. Norman Powell's gonna shoot it even if it's heavily contested, and it's going in. It's going in, and we have another one of those guys, and Tyler Hero. So I don't understand why people are like, oh, I don't know. Let me get off that. Let me stay positive. Jaime Jaquez, huge bounce back so far this season. He's averaging 16 points a game, 6 rebounds. What's that? 5 assists. 5 assists. Like, he's doing everything that he's been asked coming off the bench. He's been great at slashing to the rim, getting the rebound and going, being the first guy on the outlet, getting to the rim, shooting the ball well. Passing the ball in good situations and making good reads. All these things that we saw from him in his rookie year, he's doing now, but to an even higher level. So we love that. Jovic has had some good moments this year before his injury. I really think he's going to continue to get better and better. Techio. That boy Tech can shoot that motherfucker. And I knew, because I saw him with the Pistons, and I saw him with the Jazz, but it's like, you see it on your team, it's different, It's different. Shout out Tech, man. Shout out Tech, because that boy be shooting. I don't remember what game. It was an early game. And he was shooting I think it might have been the second game of the season. Because there was a game that we went crazy. And Tech was just he catch the ball. And without even setting his feet, he just jump, elevate, and he's going forward as he shoots the 3. And it's cash. I'm like, oh, we got one. Well, we got another one because we had Duncan. We got Tech for him. So, come on now. But Yeah, man. Davion Mitchell, been a great defender. Andrew Wiggins, been super steady. He's becoming very underrated at this point. Well, I would say he's been underrated for a few years now. But he's making a lot of plays for us defensively, offensively when we need him. So shout out to him as well. But I want to give a ton of credit to both teams because they've changed what they needed to change to become better teams based on the personnel that they have. And we see a lot of teams unwilling to change their philosophies, or players unwilling to change their philosophies or their style of play to help their team. But when you do, this is what happens. I'm not saying they're winning a championship or anything like that, but when you do, the results are there. The results are there. Clear as day, both of these teams are top 10 in points per game. They're both playing at a high level. Like, what more could you ask? They're both playing really elite defense and just getting out and going. Just getting out and going. You don't got to think hard about what play to run. You just playing basketball, which is what you started doing when you were 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, just running, just playing. And I'm not saying you don't have to think, but I think Bam had said that, like, you don't really have to think, but you do, but you also don't. If the ball is in a certain spot, if the ball's on the right side, you cut. If the ball's on the left side, you cut. If you're in the corner, of course, not if you're right in front of them. But there's so much different stuff that you can do, and it's not a hugely difficult concept. But when people start doing, or when these teams, when the Heat started doing it, and the Grizzlies did it last year, it was like, what's happening? It's called read and react, man. It's called just make plays. That's it. Just make plays. Let your basketball players be basketball players. That's really it. That's really it. The ceiling for the Raptors, I feel like they can get to a second round matchup. Genuinely. I don't know where they're going to end up because it's still quite early in the season. We're only 20 games in. Well, not even 20 games in. 19 games in. So I don't know where they're going to be seated, but I can see them being a second round team and giving one of those teams a real fight. And I would say the same thing for the Heat. At this point, second round matchup. Like, I would not be surprised at all if it's Detroit, New York, or Houston, or Toronto, Cleveland, or New York, Miami in the second round. Like, I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think Orlando still has a chance to get back in that convo. I think the Hawks, if Trae Young can come back and play at a certain level, I think they are in that conversation as well. So there's still a lot in Philly. Do not forget about Philly because Tyrese Maxey is playing at an all-NBA level. Do not forget about Tyrese Maxey because PG is back. Embiid could be coming back at some point. And even if he's not super healthy, what you're getting from guys like Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, now Jerry McCain is back in the fold, Paul George. Not saying they're going far. I'm just saying that's a team that you're going to have to look out for. That's not a team that you're just going to go past in the first round if they make the playoffs. So there's a lot in the East. I'm not saying that those teams are going to be better than teams in the West because them teams out in the West is crazy. But I will say the Eastern Conference playoffs will be very, very intriguing. Will be very entertaining. But again, it's very early. It's November. It's not even December yet. So we're not going to get too much on that. But I will say, shout out to the Raptors. Shout out to my Heat. Because I've enjoyed watching both of them play this season. And I hope for the rest of the duration of the season, it stays that way. Shout out Brandon Ingram. Shout out Scotty Barnes. Shout out Bam. Shout out Norm. Shout out my dog Tyler. Yeah, because Tyler been hooping in his first 2 games back. Just know that. Boy shooting 63% from the field through 2 games. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I'm going to say. That boy can hoop. The boy can hoop. But nonetheless, or nevertheless, one of those. I don't know which one it is. But I had a really fun time recording this for y'all. Make sure you tap in, lock in, like, comment, and subscribe. I should have said that at the beginning, but if you made it this far, there's no way you haven't already subscribed or liked the video, right? Right? I ain't gonna check you, but my homies might. You know, Naomi Osaka, D-Wade, Candace Parker, they might. My gang up here on this poster, y'all don't know them, but they might check you. I'm just saying. So make sure you hit that comment, or make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It's free. Don't cost no money. And you can get more videos like this. If you're a women's basketball fan, there's a lot more over there, or it's a lot more of that coming too. Just saying. I'm just saying. Appreciate you guys for watching.